Hello everyone, I'm Ankit and you're watching StudyIQ IAS English. In our today's video, we are going to understand what the hell is happening in the country of Nigeria, which is a country located in western part of Africa. And why is US, the country which is not located anywhere near Western Africa, poking its nose around in the internal affairs of Nigeria? That is what we are going to cover in our today's video. And if you want to download the notes which I will be using in our today's session, you can go to this particular Telegram channel called as ATS Live, and the notes will be available there for your download. And while you're at it, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel also. So let us start by understanding the context of our today's development. Now, a few days back, the US President, Mr. Donald Trump, threatened the country of Nigeria, saying that they would go all guns blazing into Nigeria with an intention to wipe out the Islamist terrorists, and these terrorists were attacking the Christians located in Nigeria. So this was the grievance of the US president. Now the African country Nigeria on their part have welcomed the US help, but provided that this help that US would give to Nigeria to wipe out the Islamic terrorists should not violate the territorial integrity and sovereignty of the country Nigeria. So what is this conflict in Nigeria all about, and why is Trump suddenly talking about it? That is what we are going to address in our today's video. So let us start by understanding some background of this problem. Now, few days before Donald Trump made this threat, he also announced that US is going to designate the country Nigeria as a country of particular concern. Now, if you can recall, there is a law passed by the US Congress called as International Religious Freedoms Act of the year 1998. And this act gives US President the power to annually review the status of religious freedom in every country of the world. And while doing so, if the US President believes that a country or its government is particularly involved in violations of religious freedom, or it is even tolerating such violations of regional freedom, then the US can impose or designate this country as a country of particular concern. Now, this designation allows US to do something. What is that something? Let us find out. Now, if a country is designated as a country of particular concern, then the US President and the US government can impose economic and military sanctions on that country, and it can also decide to curtail US financial aid to that country. For example, there are many countries who have been designated as countries of particular concern by the US government, including Myanmar, China, Cuba, Eritrea, Iran, North Korea. Even Pakistan and Russia are there, including Saudi Arabia. Now, before Nigeria, if you can recall, Trump had also raised an issue about genocides of white people in South Africa. You know why he has raised this concern in different parts of the globe? Because white people, particularly white Christians, form a core vote bank of Donald Trump and his Republican Party in US. So that is why the interest of white people, in particular the Christians, are of paramount importance as far as Republican Party and Donald Trump is concerned, right? Now, what you have to understand, while imposing sanctions, US can actually curb the amount of aid it provides to Nigeria. For example, the amount of aid US provides to Nigeria is quite significant. In September this year, US has approved $32.5 million assistance to Nigeria in order to tackle hunger in the country. And the last year is concerned, in August 2024, US mission in Nigeria said that Nigeria was itself received $27 million as a humanitarian aid package from the US government, which is given to the entire region of sub-Saharan Africa. So this amount of financial support, financial aid that US provides to Nigeria is quite significant, and by imposition of sanctions, this gives US the leverage to dictate matters that is going on in the country of Nigeria. Now, where is this country located? As you can understand from this map, Nigeria is located in the western part of Africa and it borders Atlantic Ocean. Important bordering countries to Nigeria is the country Niger, which is located on the northern part of Nigeria, followed by Benin, followed by Chad, followed by Cameroon, followed by, these are the countries who are bordering Nigeria. The most important bordering country is Niger, which we are going to discuss. Now look at the map of Nigeria. There is a demographic particularity that you have to notice. Now the Nigeria, the southern part of the country, here the Christians primarily live. So the southern part of Nigeria is dominated by people who follow Christianity. Whereas the northeastern part of the country, here people belonging to Islam religions are the people who are in majority. But there is also a difference in terms of economic development. Nigeria, like many other former colonial nation, faces a lot of inequality, and this divides the country from north to south. The northern areas, particularly in the northeastern part of the country where Islamic people live, that area is severely underdeveloped. Whereas the southern part of the country where Christians live, this area is relatively more developed than the northern country. So because of this, the inequality in Nigeria has increased. So many people have attributed this violence with an economic angle that we are going to discuss. But let us come back to our discussion, what is actually happening in Nigeria. Now the main problem in Nigeria are the terrorist organizations like Boko Haram and the Islamic State of West Africa, and they are fighting with the Nigerian government and literally anyone according to these terrorist organizations who are not the right kind of Muslims. So for example, the minority sect in the Islam, like Shia people, they are also subjected to violence by these terrorist organizations, and also people following other minority religions like Christianity, they are also subjected to the violence by these kind of terrorist organizations. Now these terror groups, they mainly operate in the northeastern part of Nigeria, the area where Muslims are majorly concentrated. And as I told you, Christianity people or people belonging to Christianity, they are concentrated in a more developed southern Nigerian region. Now why is Boko Haram conducting violence against people who they believe are not the right kind of Muslims? This idea would come from you if you understand the meaning of the word Boko Haram. Now Boko Haram basically means any Western education, any Western value would be ignored, would be protested against. This is the meaning of Boko Haram, and this organization was founded in 2002. If you look at the objective of this organization wants to establish the Islamic Caliphate in the Nigeria and tries to free country from the corrupt Western influence according to them. Now this organization became notorious for attacking institutions who impart Western educations. And they hit global headlines back in 2014, where they abducted as many as 276 schoolgirls in a particular region in Nigeria known as Borno State. And this sparked international protests highlighting Bring Back Our Girls campaign. Now 11 years has passed since this incident, and as many as 50 girl children, more than 50 girl children are yet to come back to their homes. So you can understand this organization are hell-bent on removing anything that is Western, and they are also hell-bent on attacking people who according to them are not the right kind of Muslims. This is the kind of radical thinking this organization subscribes to. Now, as I told you, many analysts also attribute this problem of violence in Nigeria with an economic angle. They say that this is, in instance, is a fallout of colonialism in Nigeria. Now, if you can understand, Nigeria gained freedom from British Empire back in 1960, and as like other colonies including India, after the colonial masters left Nigeria, Nigeria was left behind with a legacy of deepened communal fault lines. It witnessed severe amount of economic inequality and inequality in terms of access to education, because education system in Nigeria is basically top down. So areas in the north Nigeria, they are more advantaged or they are comparatively disadvantaged as compared to areas in the south. So that is why inequality is still very high in Nigeria, which may lead to such kind of violence from happening. So in addition to religious angle, there is also an economic angle to the problem. Now Nigeria, you need to understand, is very significant important economy as far as the whole Africa is concerned. It is one of the largest economies in Africa, and it is also Africa's largest oil producer. India is one of the significant importer of crude oil from Nigeria. The grade of crude oil that is available in Nigeria is called as Bonny Light, right? Now this Nigeria is also home to the largest petroleum refinery in Africa, that is Dangote Petroleum Refinery, and in November the 1, in order to cut down on imports, Dangote Petroleum Refinery has said that they will increase their production levels. So this is why you need to understand, if any violence happens in Nigeria, it would also have an impact on the economy of the entire African region. Now, what can US government and in particular Donald Trump do in Nigeria? That we have to understand. Now, generally, when Trump came into power, he subscribed to the political ideology that US should not generally be involved in wars which other countries are fighting. So this is how he has positioned himself politically, trying to bring US out of many wars it shouldn't have fight in the first place. And he has also tried to position himself personally, politically, as a peacemaker of the problems, be it Russia-Ukraine war, be it the war in Gaza-Israel. He has tried to play the role of peacemaker, tried to play the role of a negotiator. Now, if theoretically US military were to carry out any military strike in Nigeria, it wouldn't be in the form of boots on ground. Rather, it would be a precision-driven, targeted military strike. And in order to do that, they have to zero in on small amount of targets in a country which is spread across a large geography. So this is the first problem that the US might face, political challenges with respect to military interventions in any third country. The second problem is that they might face in this regards is a logistical problem. Now, if you can remember, I told you there's a significant northern neighbor to Nigeria, that is the country Niger. And previously in Niger, US operated a very big military base. Ideally, to undertake any military strike in Nigeria, US could have used that Niger's military base, right? But this military base was closed in 2024 after there was a change in government in Niger, which was not very welcome to the American presence in their country. So this absence of military base now in Niger might prove it difficult, if not impossible, for US military to intervene in matters relating to Nigeria, although Nigerian government is comfortable with it, provided they do not violate their territorial and sovereign integrity. Okay. Now, before solving the practice question, there's something very important I needed to tell you. Now, today is 5th of November, right? So by today, if you ensure to take admissions in P2F foundation courses, you'd get admission at a discounted rate. Now, what are the benefits of this course? You need to remember this course provides you live classes, and in case if you may miss live classes for some reason, you also have access to recorded lectures. In addition to that, you get test series for both prelims and mains, mentorship support, all the other kinds of support that are available, so that you'll be able to clear this exam effectively. Please do remember to use this code ATS Live. You'll get maximum discounts not on just the course of 2027 but also of 2028. Okay. Now, before leaving the session, I have a practice question for you. This effectively is a practice question that appeared in 2018 exam. You have to match the regions who have sometime been in the news with the respective country: Catalonia, Crimea, Mindanao and Oromia. Which of the following 4 pairs are correctly paired with each other? And please do let me know the correct answers in the comment section. And once again, if you want to download the notes, this is where you can go. There is another practice question. The term Bonny Light, sometimes found in the news, refers to grade of crude oil coming from which country? This is the second question which you can solve. This is effectively an easy question if you have followed the discussion closely. Okay. And the notes, if you want to download them, they will be made available on this particular Telegram channel called as ATS Live. So I'll see you again. Please have a very good night.